And today on Have a Knife Day, we're going to be talking about Behring Made Knives. Now, this is my first Behring Made knife that I purchased in early 2024 at the Las Vegas Antique Firearm Show. Now, as I was checking out a rental-made knife dealer, I looked across to the other aisle and I saw this particular knife. So I excused myself, went over and I talked to the dealer. I do believe it's Sharp and Shiny Things is the name of the dealer. And I asked him to see this knife. And I said, wow, you know, who makes this knife? And he said, Behring Made. And I'm like, wow, I've never heard of him before. Then I asked to hold this knife. And once it hit my hand, that was it. I made the transaction and this sucker went on my hip real quick. And what a fantastic knife. And that started the wheels a turning. So I did my research and I found out that Behring Made Knives are made in Missoula, Montana. And I started talking to James Behring. Plane tickets were purchased, hotels were slept in, and he graciously allowed me to come to his facility in Missoula. And I was like, you know, I want you to make me a knife. And he says, well, what do you have in mind? And I showed him some pictures. And let me get this out of the way real quick. We came up with this. This is an S-Guard fighter. And I asked for some very specific things. One, I'm a big fan of copper. And I wanted a frog-style sheath because where I live, I usually carry a knife. As well, you should too, law permitting, of course. I wanted a sheath that would allow me to take the knife off, set it off to the side so I can, you know, have freedom of motion inside of the vehicle. And this is what is known as a frog style sheath. So you push up here. This stays on your belt. And then you can put the knife off to the side. And James is, whoever does his sheaths, if it's James himself or one of his other workers, they do a damn fine job. And I have absolutely no complaints about the sheath whatsoever. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in here. And we're gonna pull out the knife itself. So this is a copper S-Guard fighter. So as we were going over the specifications and everything, he set in front of me 2 boxes of sandbar buck antlers. And I was going through and getting his input. And I picked this out. I picked this out in particular for the swell in the antler, because when you put it into your hand, it fits right into the swell of your palm, right in the pocket, and it's very, very comfortable. It's very, very secure. And you can see the Behring Made mark here. I opted for the double skull motif for the maker's mark on this side. You see the nice forge marks. You see that it is brazed onto the knife. And the copper just makes it pop. Copper spacers with micarta, black micarta spacers. A nice copper pin here to set the handle. And this is an amazing knife. Amazing example of workmanship coming out of Montana. And wow, it's these are more than just knives that, you know, these are, I don't want these to stay in a safe. I want to have them on my hip. I want to share the beauty of the craftsmanship with people. And I mean, you know what they say, General Mattis says, always carry a knife. And then there's a rule number 9 from NCIS, always carry a knife. So, always carry a knife. There you go. Well, there are my 2 Behring Made knives with sheaths. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to be putting the links to Behring Made Knives website in the descriptions. Talk to him. And he's very accommodating, very, very nice guy. And I wish him the best, and I can't wait to add more Behring Made Knives in the future. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Remember, stay bladed and have a knife day.